Okay, so let's say you've just upgraded to a premium or patron membership and you want to know, hey, how can I apply specific filter settings to a specific family member's device? Hopefully, by now, you've been able to set up our standard DNS servers on your Wi-Fi router. So you go into the DNS settings on your router and you say, hey, use the free filtering standard DNS servers. What that does is it automatically will apply the filter settings from this main profile page to anyone who connects to your Wi-Fi by default. So if someone came over to visit and said, hey, could I have your Wi-Fi password? They would automatically receive the filter settings from this main profile. But let's suppose you want to customize the filters for another family member's device. You could come down to where it says additional user device profiles right here. Okay. And you would click on create a new sub profile right here. And you'll notice by default, it creates a random username, but we want to rename it to something that's easy to remember. So in this case, I'm going to call it dad laptop. Now, I don't think you can use apostrophes in there. I think it will throw an error if you do that. So leave out any apostrophe. Okay, so you might just say dad laptop. Okay, so on my laptop, no one else in the family uses it. And I might not want the filter settings from the main profile, which is going out over the Wi-Fi router, because there are the strictest settings on YouTube for the main filters going out over the Wi-Fi. For me, I don't want the strictest settings on YouTube, or maybe I want to disable ad blocking on my particular profile. I'm in marketing, so I like to see what kind of ads people are running. So I'm going to turn that off. Okay. Actually, no, that's this is the main profile. I'm going to leave that on for the main profile. But if we go back up to the top of the page now, since I added that new profile for dad laptop, if we click on this, there's a drop down. You see that now, in addition to the main profile where those filters are going out over the router, typically, I've got dad laptop. So I'm going to switch over to the dad laptop profile. And by default, there are some settings already in here. Safe search is turned on with the strictest settings, but you'll notice that YouTube is not filtered by default under this. So how do I apply those settings specifically on my laptop that only I have access to? Well, there's a way to do that in your browser. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the encrypted DNS feature up here at the top. What you're going to notice is that for my dad profile, I've got this random username specifically for dad laptop profile, and it says TREBXGZANT. Okay. If I look down here now at the URLs for DNS over HTTPS and TLS, you'll notice that that specific username is now in those URLs right there. Okay. So we can use that specific encrypted DNS URL to enforce the settings for this particular profile on my laptop that only I use. And I'm going to do that in Chrome. So how do we do that? And these steps are going to be practically the same for most browsers. 70% of computers are using Chrome as their browser. But most alternative browsers like Brave, even Microsoft Edge, they are still based on the Chromium project, which underlies the Chrome browser. So the process of setting up encrypted DNS or setting up your browser to use DNS over HTTPS will be practically the same for any browser. So what you're going to do is you're going to click the three dots in the upper right hand corner of your page up here. You see that? And then you're going to come down to settings. And then on the left-hand side of the page, you are going to click on privacy and security right here, privacy and security. Okay. And then you're going to see security. You're going to click on security and you're going to scroll down just a little bit and you're going to see an option that says use secure DNS. By default, most of the time, this is going to be switched off. If you're not in Chrome, but you're in a browser that's based on the Chromium project, like Brave or Edge, most other browsers, unless it's Safari, are based on Chromium. The settings are going to be very similar. So they'll be under something called security. But you're going to toggle secure DNS on. And then you'll see by default that it says, hey, do you want to use secure DNS with your current service provider? Well, by default, it's the DNS coming over the router or the network that I'm attached to. But I'm going to switch it to custom. Okay. And then you'll see it says, hey, enter custom provider. Now, by default, they have some other options in here, but none of these options are based on historic Christian values. So we're going to use FreeFiltering's custom DNS, which is available to premium members. So I'm going to go back over to my settings page. Now, you want to be sure that you're on the specific profile, okay, whose settings you want to apply to this browser. So right now I'm on a browser on Dad's laptop that only I have access to. So I don't want to switch over to main profile. I want to grab the settings for Dad's laptop. TREBXGZANT is the username. So right here where it says DNS over HTTPS, I'm going to go over and click these little squares to the right of this URL. That copies them to the clip, to my, what do you call that thing? Nope, clip. I'm drawing a blank. Or you could, actually highlight it and make sure you don't have any leading spaces in the front or end of it. But for convenience, I'm just going to click right here to copy. I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to paste that in. Now, in Chrome, there's no save button. It's really weird. So there's no way to click save, but once you've put it in there, it's in there, okay? So you could go to something else like your search engine settings and then come back to privacy and security, click on security again, scroll down, and there we are. We're using secure DNS and we're using the particular secure DNS for the Dad profile. So now, anytime I'm using this browser, I'm going to be using the filters specifically assigned to the Dad laptop profile in FreeFiltering. I'll just give you a quick example. Let's say we toggle over to real time. This is also a premium member benefit. You get real time data as you're browsing. All right, by default, it's on the main profile. So we want to switch over to Dad laptop. Okay, right now it says 0 queries and we're live. So I'm going to go over in this tab and I'm just going to type in yahoo.com and hit enter. All right, there's yahoo.com. Let's see what happened in the real-time tab. Wow, look at all those settings right there. Okay. That's all the DNS requests that happened in my browser for my profile, just going to yahoo.com. Now, if I had ads blocked already for my profile, you would have seen about 10 different DNS requests for ads that were being blocked just from yahoo.com. That would have been ads, that would have been trackers that are like tracking me and building up a profile about me and what I'm interested in as I'm browsing. But anyway, that's how you set up secure DNS. That's how you apply the filter settings for a particular sub profile in a particular browser. Now, if you're doing this for a child's device, let's say you have an older child and you want to apply the settings for their profile, their free filtering profile. Maybe you've got something in here that says child number 1 laptop. You want to be sure to apply the secure DNS settings, that DNS over HTTPS, in every browser that they use. In fact, I might recommend disabling all browsers except one browser, and and you have to decide whether you want to set up that secure DNS kind of on the down low, which I would probably recommend, um, that you do it kind of on the down low on those devices. But then you'll have access to real-time data. You'll have access to analytics where you can see a history of DNS requests for that profile. You'll be able to see things that have been blocked or allowed in the past 30 days, 90 days. You can decide. If you have any questions, if you're a premium or patron member, feel free to ask in live chat or submit a help ticket over here. If I'm not online, it'll say contact us and you can submit a ticket and I'll get back with you. Thanks.